Milwaukee. The tailgate has been going since early this morning. They're well versed in it here. Playoff baseball, nothing new over the last few years, but ask any of these Brewers fans and they'll tell you one thing. The goal is no longer getting here, it's finding a way through, and they'll have to do it against their division rivals from down I-94 in this series. It's the National League Division Series on TBS, presented by Booking.com. The first ever playoff meeting between the Milwaukee Brewers and Chicago Cubs in Game 1 of this best-of-5 series. And welcome inside. Alex Faust, Ron Darling, Lauren Jabara here with you. This has all the ingredients of a terrific series. The Brewers, the best team in baseball during the regular season. Brewers and Cubs finished 1-2 in the NL Central. You've got the rivalry. You've got the managers. This should be great.
You know, this team of average Joes has had great success in the regular season, but they're looking for the first time to make it deep into October. Best record in baseball, as you said, Alex. And that 14-game win streak, they made up 15 games in only 61 days. That's how they won the division. Their pitching was sublime all season long. 806 runs, third in major leagues. They were 22nd in home runs. They put pressure on you until your pipes burst.
Freddie Peralta will toe the rubber. He is the Brewers' ace.
All-star this year, but even better at American Family Field. 9-1, ERA 1.77 for fastball Freddie Peralta.
He led the National League in wins during the regular season. He's going to get some love for NL Cy Young voting. Meanwhile, for the Cubs, an up-and-down season for them. Their offense at times was hit or miss, and they really had to rely on pitching and defense to get through the wild card round.
At their best in the first half, they were a juggernaut offensively, but in the wild card, they did it with great pitching, especially from their relievers, good quality pitching from their starters, and one of the reasons it was so good was because their defense is the best in the National League, led by Pete Crow Armstrong, Dansby Swanson. They can do it all. Up the middle, you always want your team to be strong. They are with Kelly, Horner, Swanson, and Pete Crow Armstrong.
It'll be a fun series with this Cubs team that Pat Murphy told us the one thing that stands out to him, how can they get around this Cubs defense? Season is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah. And by Vanda Pharmaceuticals, innovate in the service of people's pursuit of happiness. Just 91 miles separate Milwaukee and Chicago, but the Brewers moved to the National League in 1998. Became division rivals with the Cubs. We have yet to see a postseason matchup between these two today. For more on that, here's Lauren Jabbar.
Thanks so much, Alex. Excited to be here. Now, this matchup comes with a little extra storyline in the dugout. Craig Counsell, Pat Murphy's relationship dates back all the way to 1989 in South Bend, Indiana. Murphy was Counsell's coach at Notre Dame. Now, years later, when Counsell took over as the Brewers manager, he brought Murphy on as his bench coach, and they worked side by side for nearly a decade. Now, here they are, almost 35 years later, leading rival clubs in the NL Central for the first ever postseason meeting between the franchises. Counsell has called Murphy one of the biggest influences in his life, and Murphy told me he still sees Craig as family. They talk about once a month, if not more. But between the lines, you guys, that friendship gets put on hold, and Brewers fans, make sure Counsell feels that too. With the boos raining down, we heard it earlier, a not so subtle reminder of how personal his move to Chicago still feels here in Milwaukee.
And no doubt, Lauren, of the many ties that run deep between these two teams, the managers might have the closest ties of them all. Today's batting order presented by Ring. We take a look at the Cubs and Michael Busch at the top, who's been on a tear lately. Big homer in the 7th inning of Game 3 of the wild card against San Diego. Horner, Tucker, Suzuki moves up to the cleanup spot. Ian Happ, Carson Kelly, Pete Crow Armstrong, Dansby Swanson, and the rookie Matt Shaw to round out the order. Freddie Peralta toes the rubber for the Brewers.
One of the hardest guys to square up in all of baseball. Batting average since 2021, just 199 against fastball Freddie Peralta. That's not all he throws. He's got a great high fastball, good changeup he'll use against lefties, and he spins it when he wants to face the righties. Look at the comparison between the fastball and the changeup. At some point, you got to cover both, and up in the strike zone is where Freddie makes his living. That fastball has that great induced vertical break. It stays true and doesn't seem to sink.
We'll see how Peralta deals with this Cubs order that at times can certainly slug as we take a look at the Brewers defense.
Well, the Brewers defense is no slouch as well. Bryce Terang might be the best defensive second baseman in all of baseball. Contreras back, had kind of a hurt left hand, but that rest really helped him. Blake Perkins is in the lineup in center field because he gives them the best chance to track down the fly balls. Chorio in left and Frelick in right. They all throw well.
Brewers defense, 31 defensive runs saved. But between the lines, they have some terrific athletes. The Cubs and the Brewers, a rivalry matchup to kick off the division series. The first ever playoff meeting. Brewers looking to end a 42-year pennant drought. They haven't won a playoff series since 2018. A charged up environment. And Freddie Peralta is ready to go. He'll work from the stretch. And game one of the NLDS is underway with a fastball missing outside. What a run it's been for Michael Busch over the last couple of weeks. Dating back to the end of the regular season. 12 for his last 27. 9 extra base hits his last 8 games, and he pops this one foul.
Boy, nothing like that first pitch for a pitcher in a postseason game. You're letting it go before your hair catches on fire.
This is also nothing new for Freddie Peralta. He's started playoff games before, but he struggled a bit the last 2 years. Started game 1 of the National League wild card last year against the Mets. Gave up 3 runs in 4 innings. And Busch with a fly ball deep to right field. Way back there, that ball is gone! Michael Busch continues his late season assault. A leadoff homer for the Cubs in game 1.
He had 34 home runs during the regular season. He had one on Thursday, his first postseason home run, and he got the count in his favor. 2-1, saw another 4-seam fastball and was able to get on top of it. A bomb to right field to start this series.
Busch's 6th homer in a 9-game span. Michael Busch entered today 2 for 16 lifetime against Freddie Peralta. Those 2 were home runs, and he now has a 3rd as Nico Horner grounds out.
You know, in talking about this series, it feels like the power of the Cubs versus the pesky Brewers. But there wasn't a lot of power in the wild card series. But the Cubs earlier this season, especially in the first half, would not be denied. Home run power from 1 to 9.
Kyle Tucker now, 4-time All-Star. Big trade in the offseason to Chicago. It is a big question, Ronnie, looming over this series is, can the style of play that worked for the Brewers during the regular season work for them here in the postseason?
It's the biggest question. Are they going to be able to put enough pressure on the Cubs to make their pipes burst? We'll see. Tucker is DHing in this series. Hurt his left calf towards the end of the season. Suzuki plays right. Tucker, one of the best right fielders the game has.
Today, his 67th career playoff game. 1-1 from Peralta. Chop first base side. Andrew Vaughn is there to make the flip.
Unusual start here from Peralta, who doesn't give up a lot of home runs, doesn't give a lot of hard contact, gives up very few ground balls, and the first 2 outs are on the ground.
I'll bring up Seiya Suzuki. Some clutch hits in the wild card round. All 3 of his hits against the Padres went for extra bases. As Peralta dots the corner with the fastball.
Well, what makes Peralta unique Well, his stride gets down that mound as far as anyone in the game. He's got a little three-quarter arm action and throws across his body, which makes it awfully difficult on the right-handed hitters.
One, and Suzuki holds his swing on the slider. Suzuki, who had a wonderful first half of the season, cooled off over the second half, but right before the end of the regular season seemed to rediscover his form. 2 balls and 2 strikes here. Extra base hits in 8 consecutive games coming in. Peralta and these Brewers fans looking for the punch out. On 2-2. Called strike 3, outside corner at 98. But the Cubs strike first. Michael Busch with a leadoff homer as the Brewers come to bat. Off for the Brewers as we take a look at their batting order presented by Ring. This Milwaukee team led the National League in OPS from May 19th onward, despite being 17th in home runs over that span, and they will face Matthew Boyd, pitching on 3 days rest, making his 5th career playoff starts. The left-hander will work against the righty batting Churio, who shows bunt and jumps out of the way.
You know what's going to be interesting in this matchup is Boyd is a guy that tries to get the hitters to go off the plate. And this is a team that does not chase. So he's going to have to be aggressive and throw enough strikes against this Milwaukee 9.
Craig Counsell told us that Boyd was immediately ready to go. He said as soon as he came off the mound in game 1 of the wild card, he said he'll be ready for game 1 of this series.
He is pitching on 3 days rest, but only threw 58 pitches in that game. So he should be ready physically to go.
Churio grounds one fair up the left field line, and he'll dig for extra bases. A sliding double for Jackson Churio to lead things off in the bottom of the first.
So a little taste of it right away. Jackson Churio fakes the bunt earlier in the count and then pulls the third baseman in. A breaking ball down the middle that he gets on top of and gets it past Matt Shaw, who's playing a little in from his usual position back. Right down the line.
Had a good series in the wild card last year against the Mets. Gonna bring up Bryce Terang. Lefty hitting second baseman. And Terang smacks one to right. That's down for a base hit and is off the wall. Churio will score and the Brewers immediately answer. Tie game.
Back-to-back doubles here by the Brewers. They don't swing a lot. They don't chase a lot. But when they do swing, they make contact. And they've answered straight away.
Jackson Churio and Bryce Terang with back-to-back doubles. Terang, who lit up the Cubs during the regular season.
Craig Counsell said they became a complete lineup with the maturation of Terang and the addition of Andrew Vaughn.
William Contreras tags one towards the gap. That is down for a base hit past the diving Eden Happ. Terang will score. 3 straight doubles for the Brewers to begin. And they have the lead.
This is a team coming in. Your game plan might be they don't swing a lot. They take a lot of pitches. They don't chase. They have come out just opposite of that. So aggressive for the Brewers. And 3 straight doubles as Tommy Hotovoy comes out to speak to his left-hander. One of the best pitching coaches in all of baseball, Tommy Hotovoy. Done it at a high level for a long time.
This Milwaukee team found ways to score runs in every which way during the regular season. They have the best run differential in baseball. Top 3 in scoring. Top 3 in steals. And as we talked about earlier, the formula that worked in the regular season. Can they get to the Cubs and advance to the NLCS, a place they haven't been since 2018? Here's Christian Yelich. Matthew Boyd is yet to record an out. And Yelich behind 0-1. Finished a homer shy of 30 during the regular season, Yelich. Turn it around after a slow start. Yelich, bounding ball. Contreras has to go back to second. And Swanson makes the put out.
Good pitching there by Boyd, who was able to keep Yelich on that left side of the diamond to not advance the runner, Contreras. I mean, 3 extra base hits right off the bat. The Padres had 7 extra base hits in all 3 wild card games.
Here is Andrew Vaughn. You referenced him. A big acquisition middle of the season for the Brewers. As he takes an off-speed pitch outside. Vaughn was in AAA. His season had been a disaster with the Chicago White Sox, but added some serious pop to the Brewers lineup ever since coming over.
I mean, their record in games he started since he's come over is unbelievable. Vaughn found a home here in Milwaukee. You know, it's interesting about the information you have now. They liked Vaughn. They went and got him. They restructured his swing. He came back, and he's one of the biggest parts of this lineup from July 7th on.
He's top 5 in the National League and runs batted in from his arrival onward, and he's ahead in the count, 3 balls and a strike, as Carson Kelly came up with a good block. Contreras at second. 3 straight doubles in the bottom of the first for the Brewers. And it's a 5-pitch walk to Vaughn.
We asked Craig Counsell before the game today, how is his bullpen? He said they're not compromised, but they're lessened, which told me that he really would like to see some outs and innings here from Matthew Boyd.
Well, in some ways, they're feeling the after effects from the wild card. It only ended about 36 hours ago.
Michael Soroka getting up for the Cubs.
They're certainly looking forward to the off day tomorrow. Sal Frelick now, and he's tied up on a fastball in on his hands. In a lot of ways, it makes this game one all the more critical for Milwaukee to win.
They got to have it. They have a pitching matchup advantage with their starter, a guy who doesn't lose at home.
Broken bat for Frelick on a ball to second. Horner boots it. Everybody's safe. Here comes Contreras, and he scores.
Well, someone here in the booth was talking about how good the Cubs defense is. Nico Horner is one of the best in the game, but he got caught into deciding, was he going to throw the ball to second or just take it to first? Took his eye off the baseball and missed it.
A Gold Glove winner, but a big error early. And it's 3-1 Milwaukee in the first. Big swing from Caleb Durbin.
Great job by Contreras, who was alert and ready to round the bag, and Jason Lane, their third base coach, to make sure he got him home. Those are the little things we're talking about with the Brewers.
Oh, and 2 now to Durbin. There's always a question for a team ever since this format came to be about whether the bye week is a good thing or a bad thing. And the Brewers went hard in their practice this week to work on fundamental things.
Pat Murphy wanted to make them at least uncomfortable enough to be ready to play the Cubs here in game 1.
Chop foul. Lauren, you have more?
Yeah, he told me the exact same thing. Monday, they took the day off. Tuesday, he said slightly uncomfortable workout. Wednesday and Thursday is when they hit it very hard, very uncomfortable. He said the guys were pushed. They wanted to simulate live action. And then Friday was the media day, a lighter practice. But Andrew Vaughn told me he felt like they handled it well. Their bodies, their minds needed that rest. They created those live action situations, but also got that rest and recovery at the same time. He said they're ready to go today, and you can tell through the first inning.
No doubt. Durbin strikes out for the second out of the inning.
You're right, Lauren. You go down 1, 2, 3, you're not ready, and that was too big of a time off. You hit 3 doubles in a row, you're raring to go.
Pat Murphy, one of the great characters in this game, trying to thread that needle between keeping the team loose and keeping them focused. With a week between games, Blake Perkins now, switch hitting outfielder. Bat from the right side. Been a rough season for Perkins. Began the year injured and then found out some of the worst news you could find out. His mom diagnosed with cancer. Stage 4. She didn't make it through the season. And it's been an emotional ride, and Perkins has certainly been a favorite in the clubhouse for a while here in Milwaukee, but his teammates carrying big time this year. And he's helped carry them. As Perkins fouls this off.
Yeah, he's been so stoic about it. You know, it's a very difficult thing to, do you share? Do you not share? But you know, got through the season. Here he is, starter in center field for game 1.
Facing a 1-2 count. And Boyd misses with the fastball.
Pat Murphy said he knew Matthew Boyd very well. I asked him how. He said, well, when he was auditioning for all the teams in June of 2024, Milwaukee was all in, and they had done their research. They really wanted him, but he went on to the Tigers.
Two, fouled off. Milwaukee with 3 in the first. Trying to shake off what's been a lot of frustration in the postseason the last few years. They haven't won a playoff series since 2018.
Yeah, that's when they swept the Rockies before losing to the Dodgers.
Two to Perkins, and he looks in ball 3.
You can see in this first inning not only the aggressive swings at strikes, you can also see their ability to not chase balls out of the strike zone.
25 pitches for Matthew Boyd in this first inning. And 3 on the board as Perkins stays alive. Wonder what questions Craig Counsell is pondering in the early stages of this game. Everybody with a head start on 3-2, and it's another foul ball. Terrific at bat from Blake Perkins. He's fouled off 3 in a row. On Tuesday in the first inning, Matthew Boyd needed only 12 pitches. Number 28 is fouled back. And he get through this inning. Get the Cubs settled into this game. Another payoff. And Perkins again gets a piece.
Heated, intense games between these two clubs all summer long. You can see it in this at bat. Gets on the side of that breaking ball as Matthew Boyd fouls it right off the shin of Perkins. Cubs won 7, Brewers 6.
Again, the runners go. And Perkins wins the battle. Vaughn around third. He will score. 4-1 Milwaukee. Craig Counsell has seen enough.
Nice hitting here from Perkins. Gets down on that changeup. A bullet to center field. Look at the reaction.
Blake Perkins wins an 11-pitch at bat and chases Matthew Boyd in the first. Brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah. And by Vanda Pharmaceuticals. Innovate in the service of people's pursuit of happiness. Let's take a look at our quick fire stats presented by Frigidaire. The Milwaukee Brewers put pressure on opposing teams better than virtually any other. Third in runs scored, first in infield hits, and unearned runs as well, putting pressure on opponents' defenses. An error from Nico Horner that has prolonged this inning. And Joey Ortiz will bat, the 9-hole hitter.
Michael Soroka, phenom when he first came up with the Atlanta Braves. A couple of Achilles injuries have taken their toll.
This has been a disastrous first inning for the Cubs, who needed innings from Boyd with a fatigued bullpen. Soroka can give them innings after coming over from Washington at the deadline. And he has yet to put one in the strike zone. That one looked like it caught, but Edwin Moscoso disagreed. Joey Ortiz looking for his first career postseason hit. And to keep this hit parade going, 4 of them in the first for Milwaukee. That's off the corner. It's ball 4, and the bases are loaded. And Churio will bat for the second time.
2 walks, 4 hits, scoring on an error.
The Brewers had scored just 1 first inning run in their final 15 games of the regular season. They already have 4. Chourio started it off with a double. Two.
Chourio, the youngest ever, back-to-back 20 home run, 20 stolen base seasons.
Still only 21 years of age.
Maybe took a little step back from last year, but part of that was injuries. He's going to be one of the big stars of our game.
Had a hamstring injury at the end of July. Didn't seem 100% when coming back. But Chourio laces this one into left field. And the hit parade continues. Two more come home. 6-1 Milwaukee.
Breaking ball in the zone to Chourio. He stayed on it. Split the hole between Swanson and Shaw. Not hit hard enough for Happ to throw out the runner. 2-run score.
All you can say is wow. The Brewers jumping all over the Cubs in the first inning of Game 1.
Wild card series for the Cubs against the Padres. Padres scored 5 runs. Brewers have put 6 on them here in the first.
Ball and a strike to Bryce Terang. Cubs pitching and defense carried them to the wild card round. Not so to start the division series.
This is one of those rare postseason games where Soroka's going to have to eat up some innings. It's an unusual format, right? You have 3 off days in this 5-game series. But still, you want your team prepared for tomorrow if this game ever gets out of hand. And if it does, Soroka's got to eat up some innings.
Full off day tomorrow, and then a night game on Monday. And finally, the inning is over. But it's a standing ovation for the Brewers, who have 6 in the first inning and are in command early of Game 1. Customers can bet $5 and pocket $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the app and use the promo code HEAT when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. First pitch swinging for Ian Happ.
Guys like to invoke on the bench the phrase, let's hit for a half hour. Well, the Brewers did. They hit for 26 minutes. That's how long Freddie Peralta was on the bench.
I don't know how many would have had 6 runs for Milwaukee on their bingo card in the first inning of this series. Happ with a fly ball to center. Perkins underneath it for the first out of the second. Jackson Chourio with 2 base hits for the Brewers out of their 5 in the inning. First player in Brewers postseason history to have 2 hits in the same inning.
You know, I mentioned this before, I think in the open. The Cubs offense this year 22 times scored 10 or more runs. Game far from over.
I think we've seen their potency.
Yeah.
But there's been a lack of consistency. The Cubs during the regular season top 5 in scoring, but came down to earth over the second half.
Yeah, they really had kind of 2 seasons, didn't they, as far offensively? Pete Crow Armstrong and Suzuki kind of slowed up in the second half. The injury to Tucker, of course, all of that played a part in their second half.
As a pitcher, if you've got a 5-run lead after the first, does that change anything in the game plan here for Freddie Peralta?
I don't think so. I mean, the only thing it'll change, Alex, is that if you are behind in a 2-1, 3-1 count, you have to be more aggressive. Meaning that in a game which is tight, each pitch is so important, you might try to still hit a corner against a really good hitter. When you have a 5-run lead, you can't walk anyone. That's how they get back in the game. You've got to be a little more aggressive and trust your defense.
He fans Carson Kelly.
See the changeup here on the right-hander. Fastball in, coupled with the changeup down. Good pitching here by Peralta. Usually he saves that changeup for the left-handed hitters. Very rare he uses against the right-handers.
Smattering of boos here for the Cubs star Pete Crow Armstrong, and he grounds one into right field for a 2-out single. Peralta had retired 5 straight after the leadoff homer from Michael Busch.
You know, I was talking to Craig Counsell earlier in the season, and when Pete Crow Armstrong was going great, every pitch was leaving the ballpark. That side swing looks like he's taking a little more of a humble approach right now, trying to go for the base hits, get on base, steal some bases until that stroke comes back. Counsell described it as just normal things that happen within the course of the season. Just trying to tweak certain things to get a little better.
Strike one here to Dansby Swanson. Former World Series winner with the Braves.
Got some hitters in the Cubs lineup that have had a lot of trouble with Freddie Peralta. Swanson, one of them, 2 for 21 in his career.
Peralta misses on 0-2. Cubs didn't strike out a ton during the regular season. And the bottom of their order has been so valuable. Led baseball in OPS from 6 through 9, but a couple of Ks here in the second from Freddie Peralta. And Milwaukee holds a 5-run lead. Rewards for tickets to the MLB postseason on Capital One Entertainment. Visit CapitalOne.com/entertainment for more information. Alex Faust, Ron Darling, Lauren Jabara here with you in Milwaukee. What a start to the division series. Brewers with a 6-1 lead. They chased Matthew Boyd. Michael Soroka is in. Came over from the Washington Nationals as he faces William Contreras here, but injured right off the hop in his Cubs debut. Didn't come back until mid-September, but they're going to need some innings out of him today.
Starting pitcher when he started his career with the Atlanta Braves was more of a sinker sweeper kind of pitcher in those days. Now those more four-seamers.
Contreras with a base hit to left.
Fastball middle of the plate. Contreras took care of it. Another hard hit ball off the bat of these Milwaukee hitters.
I'll bring up Yelich.
Yelich really is the glue for this team. He's not that old, but he seems like the senior citizen for this young ball club. He's the man they go to when they have questions.
The face of the franchise, no doubt. He was asked yesterday about the Brewers' playoff losses because he's been here for virtually all of them. Didn't play in the wild card round last year with a back injury. And he said there's no real common thread. Every year is a different team. Every year had its different challenges. But recognize that they need to get the monkey off their back here. This is a team that's won 3 straight division titles, 4 out of the last 5.
They have an amazing culture in Milwaukee, but you're right. They need that. They need to go deep into October to make those 97 wins stand up.
Franchise record. 3 balls and a strike to Yelich. And he grounds one into right for a second hit in this second inning. Outs have been hard to come by for the Cubs. 2 on, nobody out.
Holding Contreras on at first base opened up that hole between Bush and Nico Horner. And Yelich takes advantage of it.
Andrew Vaughn here. Chicago Cubs have 2 comebacks of 5+ runs this season. They have not come back from down 6 or more. Vaughn makes it 3 straight hits. Brewers go station to station. They load the bases and have a chance to blow this thing wide open.
0-2 pitch here from Soroka, caught too much of the plate. Vaughn caught it a little off the end of the bat, but it had enough on it to drop into left field and find some grass. Bases loaded here now for the Brewers in inning 2.
And Sal Frelick, who his former manager Craig Counsell once called the hit collector. Another one here, can score 2 more. As his bat goes flying on strike 1.
Frelick is the only guy that has been uber aggressive. A check swing in his first at bat on the first pitch, and now a lost bat in his second at bat. Former football player. He's got the temperature up here early in the game.
The highest contact rates in the majors. Pat Murphy knows a thing or two about football. That's where he got his start coaching before he was coaching in baseball. Couldn't ask for a better start if you're a Brewers fan. Bases loaded, nobody out, bottom 2. Frelick behind 0-2. Aaron Savali, former starter, a former Brewer, warming in the pen for Chicago.
In fact, the Brewers traded Savali to get Andrew Vaughn, and now Savali here with the Cubs. A long road for him this summer.
And from the south side to the north side at the end of August. 1-2. And the slider misses low and in.
Well, Carson Kelly's been on point a couple times now. He's had to keep that ball in front of him.
Two pitch. Frelick serves it to left. Happ comes in, it stays up for him. And Contreras will bluff from third. But everybody stays put. And a huge first out.
Well, you see the runner Contreras on third. Doesn't run great. So once Happ was coming in, his momentum was on the way forward. He knew there was no chance for him to go. Nice play by Shaw to keep that ball in front of him.
I'll bring up Caleb Durbin, who struck out his first time. Soroka up to 28 pitches. Off the hands, little flare. Horner unable to get there. Two more will score. Caleb Durbin drives in a pair.
.164 infield hits. Jam shots that end up dropping in. When they swing, they made contact. And they're finding holes here on this Saturday afternoon. Scott Counsell scratching his head.
You mentioned it right away, Ronnie. The Brewers had an aggressive approach from the get-go. That's their third hit on the first pitch of an at-bat this afternoon.
Yeah, we talked about how patient they can be, but they will swing at strikes. So if they view that the pitcher is going to be uber aggressive on that first pitch, they will fire, and it's been successful so far. Average Joes indeed.
All of this without a home run. That's been the magic brew for this team all season. The irony, the only homer in the game belongs to Chicago. Blake Perkins here. RBI single his first time. Just 54 games this season. After that early injury, he bats from the left side here against the righty Soroka.
You know, we've talked a lot about the Brewers having that time off, and it doesn't work against teams. Maybe the Cubs didn't have enough time off. Quick turnaround for them from the wild card series.
Well, we saw early when this format was adopted that teams from the wild card plowed their way then through the division series.
Right.
And it led to a lot of questioning. Is this the right thing to do? And this Brewers team, Pat Murphy has said it over and over in the week leading up to this game, they needed the rest, especially their bullpen.
McGill, who had just come back on the last day of the season, who was their closer early in the year, he got a chance to throw on the side before they started this series. Contreras, who had a hurt hand, chance for him to heal.
Ground ball from Perkins. Bush will win the foot race to the bag for the second out as both runners move up. What a start to this division series. 6 in the first, 2 in the second. For a Milwaukee team that, although they did not slug, they still had the second most runs in baseball during the regular season. Infield backs up with 2 outs. And Joey Ortiz takes ball 1. Two and 0. Of course, the Cubs are without a couple of starters. Justin Steele, season-ending injury early in the year. Cade Horton, a fractured rib at the end of the regular season. Putting together a terrific year in his rookie campaign, but he's unavailable. Which is likely what led to the Cubs trying to roll the dice here and going with Matthew Boyd. Just 2/3 of an inning, the shortest outing for a Cubs player in the postseason as a starter in many years. Lauren, you have more on Cade Horton as the bases are now loaded.
I do. Craig Counsell said earlier that he's not going to be available for this DS series. They said they haven't really pushed him that hard. They're not testing him. They're focusing on just getting his health back up to 100%. And then they'll push him maybe towards the end of next week, hoping to get him back if they advance to the CS.
We'll see if they get there. Craig Counsell serenaded with boos, and the Brewers fans cheer another pitching exit for Chicago. We'll be right back. Four Eastern on Fox. 6:30 Eastern. The Dodgers and the Phillies play Game 1 of the National League Division Series. And then late tonight, Tigers-Mariners Game 1. Tomorrow, both games on FS1 in the American League. The Yankees and the Blue Jays in Game 2, and Game 2 of the Tigers-Mariners series to follow.
Well, Craig Counsell didn't get the length from Michael Soroka. He'll try to get it here from Aaron Savali, the third pitcher the Cubs have used. The Cubs, 4 games in. Now, the caveat is here, they used an opener, Kittredge, in one of the games in the wild card. 4 starters, 10 innings so far in the postseason.
Savali's bounced around. He's had injury trouble throughout his career. Traded, waived, picked up by the Cubs. And he deals a strike to Jackson Chourio, his 3rd at bat, and we're only in the 2nd inning. What could turn into a rout here, if it isn't already?
Well, I promise you one thing. If he gets another hit here, he'll make another historical record, right?
Fouls this one back.
Chourio steps a little bit in the bucket, but he also has tremendous power when he's got it working to right center field.
Borderline pitch. Savali doesn't get the call. Chourio knows how to string them together. He had a 20-game hit streak earlier this summer. 2-2 from Savali, and Chourio grounds one to third. Diving stop by Shaw. His throw not in time. Another run comes home.
What a play by Shaw. Not only to get to it, but to make a play on it. But just couldn't get enough air on that ball. And the 3 hops. Not enough to get Chourio with his speed. Up and down this lineup for the Brewers. Tremendous speed. And now they're checking on Chourio to make sure that he has not hurt himself in that sprint down the first base line. Hanging his head. You mentioned he had the hamstring strain, right? Hopefully he didn't re-injure that for Brewers fans.
Scott Behringer is the lead athletic trainer for the Milwaukee Brewers. Pat Murphy in that conversation as well. Take a look.
Kind of landed awkward in the bag. Usually when you hurt a hamstring or quad, you reach down for it as soon as it gives you pain. But he did not. But he's coming out of the game.
Well, he makes history, the first player in big league history with 3 hits in the first 2 innings of a postseason game. Well, we'll head to the showers early with an apparent injury. Chourio has driven in 3 out of the Milwaukee 9. Terang takes low and in.
See that sign? It's the sign of a guy who knows that he hurt something pretty severe.
Base is still loaded here, and how big of an impact might that be for Milwaukee over the course of this series? Isaac Collins will pinch run for him. Remember, Churio missed most of August with a hamstring injury, 28 games in all. Open question as to whether he was 100% when he came back. He hit just 200 in the month of September. And now he is unavailable for the rest of this game as Collins replaces him.
We're talking about Terang's maturation this season. 10 home runs he hit in the month of August. Brewers hit 45 in that month, their best.
Strikeout of Terang ends the inning. But 9 more men come to the plate. And Milwaukee has stretched the lead. Postseason. Check out the largest selection of authentic jerseys, caps, hoodies, t-shirts, and more. Visit MLBshop.com for your favorite postseason team gear.
Freddie Peralta pitching an inning every half hour as Isaac Collins goes out in left field.
Faces the 9-man in Matt Shaw.
Shaw had a tough go of it early in the season, was sent down to AAA, fought his way back. Craig Counsell said after the All-Star break was one of the Cubs' best hitters for an extended period of time. His defense plays.
He entered the season as the Cubs' top prospect. And certainly one of the more consistent hitters over the second half of the season. Looking for his first postseason hit. There is still a buzz around this stadium from what we've seen over the first 2 innings. An open question too, Ronnie, of how many Cubs fans would invade, because they often do during the regular season. It's often a split crowd.
I mean, it's sounded before the game, especially the boos of Counsell, sounded very Brewers centric here this afternoon. But you see some Cubs hats.
Mm-hmm.
Wrigley Field North is sometimes what they call it.
Much to the chagrin of the Brewers faithful.
Of course.
First full count for Freddie Peralta. And this is flied foul.
So, Alex, what can you do in a game like this? Well, you know you want to chip away. You want to get this game closer, 9-4, 9-5. Give yourself a chance with one swing of the bat and bases loaded, you're back in the game. But even more than that, if this goes 5 games, you're going to see Peralta again. Do what you can to knock him around a little bit. Leave a bitter taste in his mouth.
It's a leadoff walk for Matt Shaw here in the 3rd.
Vanda Pharmaceuticals. Innovate in the service of people's pursuit of happiness.
Who would have thought after the leadoff homer from Michael Busch that this would be the score as he makes his second trip to the plate. The Brewers are the first team in MLB postseason history with 9 runs and 10 hits in the first 2 innings of a playoff game. And Busch drives one to center field. Perkins underneath it. to for the first out of the inning. I have a question here too, Ronnie, because one of the stories for Milwaukee coming in is the bullpen. The off day adds a wrinkle in that ordinarily in a case like this, let's say you play the first 2 games of a series, you want to drive up pitch counts, get to a bullpen. Well, here you have the off day, and that isn't necessarily the case.
Yeah, the bullpens are going to play a huge role. I mean, Craig Counsell didn't want his bullpen to play that big of a role in this game so far, but things like that happen. But because of the off days, you got to be careful with Contreras behind the plate. He loves to throw the ball around the bases. The bullpen's going to play a huge role just because they're going to get that extra rest that you usually don't get if you're playing every single day. And with these 2 teams only 90 miles away, you could have had that kind of schedule, right, of playing every single day, but you have what you have, and you got to manage to it and sometimes around it.
Saw how aggressive Craig Counsell was in using relievers on back-to-back in 3 straight days just to collect outs, as it were.
So Peralta could reasonably start this game and come back on Thursday on regular rest. Thursday being game 4. That's unheard of in the division series to pitch game 1 and game 4.
Same thing for Matthew Boyd. You wonder whether performance today adds a wrinkle into that, but so far so good for Peralta and the Brewers. 2-2 pitch here to Nico Horner, and he strikes out.
Always has that 4-seamer that rides, and threw this right by Horner, who's a guy very rarely strikes out, makes a lot of contact. You know, the Cubs were behind the gun anyway. This was a matchup of a guy who's 9-3 in his lifetime, Peralta, against the Cubs. And Boyd now has given up 15 runs, 11 earned, and only 11 innings pitched against the Cubs this season. So that's got to factor into your decision making for later in the series.
Kyle Tucker, the batter here. Freddie Peralta coming off a career year during the regular season, leading the National League with 17 wins, top 5 in ERA, strikeouts per 9. 200 plus strikeouts for the 3rd straight year, but he openly talked about it leading into this series, Peralta, that his performances in the postseason the last 2 years, he knows he has to be better here in October.
When he's pitched in a game for the Brewers in the postseason, they've never won one. He had 3 relief appearances, 3 starts before today's start.
Two balls and 2 strikes now to Tucker.
Hitters know when they're facing Peralta that he can throw the ball close to 100 miles an hour, but they'll tell you it still plays hotter than that. That's how good his fastball is.
He's gone from 0-2 to 3-2 here on Tucker. So Suzuki on deck. Runner goes, and Tucker gets a piece.
Oh, interesting by Peralta. He chose that 3-2 pitch to do a little delay in his stride to the plate. A lot of tricks up his sleeve.
Forced Matt Shaw to hesitate momentarily.
Yeah.
But not a balk. That's up and away, ball 4. 2-out walk to Tucker. Peralta stayed away from the fastball. The final 3 pitches of that at bat, and it brings up Suzuki with 2 on and 2 out.
66 walks for Peralta in the regular season in 176 innings.
Goes back to the fastball there, Peralta. Milwaukee as a staff did have an issue during the regular season with walks. In fact, they had the 2nd worst strikeout to walk ratio in baseball. All that matters here is getting to 27 outs.
There's Chris Hook.
Yep.
Just like the Cubs, another talented pitching coach in our league.
Oh, and 2 to Suzuki. And that's strike 3. A looping curveball freezing Suzuki and ending the inning. 5 strikeouts now for Freddie Peralta, with the Brewers up big early in game 1. Murphy of the Brewers.
Pat, for a team known for their patience at the plate, some aggressive at bats there through the first 2 innings. What stood out about the way your offense was able to attack their pitching staff?
Yeah, I'm proud they came out ready, you know, and they did strike ball it. And you think about Perkins' 10-pitch at bat, kind of says it all. But the guys came out ready to swing, and you know, it's one of those things when they're locked in. A lot of great things can happen. They're a great bunch.
Jackson Chourio was playing great. We saw him hold his hamstring after crossing the bag. What was your conversation with him, and what's his status?
Well, it's just scary, you know. He had a hamstring that kept him out a month, and it's the same hamstring, so we're worried about it. It's really unfortunate.
I'd appreciate it.
Thank you.
That will be a big story to watch over the course of this series. Shaw makes another nice play, this time retiring Contreras. Aaron Savali in to pitch, the 3rd pitcher already for the Cubs. Matthew Boyd lasted 2/3 of an inning. Michael Soroka ineffective. And now it's up to Savali to eat some innings as he faces Yelich.
Savali throws 93, 94 miles an hour, pretty straight. He's more of a breaking ball pitcher. You'll see a lot of different curveballs, sweepers.
Yelich rather, behind a ball and 2 strikes. If we take a look at the latest betting odds from DraftKings Sportsbook, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and place your bets live today. Sign up with the promo code HEAT. 3rd at bat for Yelich. One-two from Savali, and it's popped foul. Let's see if Happ has a play on this. He will not. What's a scare for Christian Yelich in early September? Flare-up of those back issues that have bothered him for so many years. It seemed to be just fine at the end of the regular season. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
During the end of the regular season, in fact, they were batting him leadoff against a left-hander today. Batting cleanup.
On the ground, Horner is there.
Savali trying to wrap his arms around this game and get it headed in the right direction for Craig Counsell.
Well, he retired the leadoff man for the first time. 2 quick roundouts. That'll bring up Andrew Vaughn. Looping breaking ball in for strike one. The Milwaukee Brewers were 3 games under 500 on May 24th. They had lost 2 out of the first 3 of a series to the Pittsburgh Pirates. We're about to lose the 3rd. And their season seemed to turn around there. Fly ball right field. Suzuki going back. And he has a beat on it. The inning is over. A 1-2-3 inning, mercifully, for the Cubs. His 5 strikeouts so far. StatCast 3D is powered by Google Cloud.
Yeah, really has stuck to these 3 pitches the entire time. A couple strikeouts on the changeup, a couple on the 4-seamer, and his last one to Suzuki was that curveball that caught the inside corner.
Well, he hasn't minded the large stretches where he's had to sit in the Brewers dugout. 9-1 Milwaukee. 6 in the first, 3 in the second for the Brewers, who at one point trailed the Cubs by 6.5 in the NL Central. 3.5 bats here. Starting to talk about that pivot point for the Brewers season in late May, where they were in the final game of that series against the Pittsburgh Pirates, trailing in the 8th inning. They got a 2-out, 2-strike double from Bryce Terang, a 2-out, 2-strike double from Isaac Collins. It ignited a Brewers comeback, and Pat Murphy cited over and over that was the turning point in the season. They won 8 in a row after that. They had an 11-game win streak in July. Happ strikes out. Then they had that franchise record 14-game winning streak in August, where it seemed to announce to the baseball world this wasn't just a run, they were for real.
How about an 8, 11, and 14-game win streak in the course of a year?
Right.
You're right, and they turned that. By the time they hit July 20th, they were tied. And smooth sailing for them after that.
Carson Kelly struck out swinging his first time. Big wild card series for him. And the big hit, go ahead homer in game 1 off Nick Pivetta. Kelly with a fly ball to center. Perkins jogs in for the 2nd out. 2 gone here in the 4th. Alex Faust, Ron Darling, Lauren Jabara, producer Tom Heitz, director John Tackett, our entire TBS crew. Game 1 of the National League Division Series. Couldn't be a better start for the Milwaukee Brewers. Can the Cubs chip away either against Freddie Peralta or a Milwaukee bullpen that does have some question marks? Popped up in the infield by Pete Crow Armstrong. Vaughn has it for a 1-2-3 fourth.
Up 9-1. Now the Brewers have a fun nickname this season. Pat Murphy calls his team the Average Joes. Christian Yelich came up with it, but Murph was telling me it's a bunch of average guys that came together and created something elite, which is what they've been all season. I asked Bryce Terang about it. He said it says a lot about the kind of group that we have. We all come from different places, but being able to connect, play as one, that's all that matters. We built a real connection. We love each other, and you could see it on the field. And even Freddie Peralta told me, I've been here for 8 years, but guys, there's something special about this team. You could tell by the results, yes, the record that we have, 97 wins on the regular season, but this is a team that truly loves playing together, and it shows on the field. And one of my favorite parts, guys, Murph says that Yelly calls him Patches from dodgeball. I don't know if that's a compliment or not.
Well, he has the jersey in his office to prove it, as Frelick has a base hit to lead off the fourth.
I mean, that makes him Rip Torn, right?
Right.
So if he can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. I think he has a lot more humor than the great Rip Torn had in that part anyway.
He's aiming to win a second consecutive National League Manager of the Year. Very much would be among the favorites. Best record in baseball during the regular season, another division title here. He dropped that line in public for the first time after sweeping the Dodgers in mid-July. He was saying to the great fans around the world watching baseball, it's a bunch of guys that nobody's ever heard of. It's a credit to his young, hungry players, he said. Pranks, the hijinks, it's all part of the Pat Murphy experience as well. In the air from Durbin, pretty deep. PCA tracks it down. That thing kept carrying from Durbin, and Pete Crow Armstrong had to make a nice catch.
It seemed like he was using his hand like I didn't really pick that up, but he took a look at the wall and then kind of cruised on it, but still that ball did carry, and this is a great hitter's park. It always has been.
Bring up Perkins.
You know, Pat Murphy is kind of the envy of a lot of the managers, because in today's game where you're really careful in how you deal with your athletes, he has such a young team that he can be very bold with them.
Fly ball. This will tail towards the seats.
Sal Frelick, who's on first, didn't hit a cutoff man, didn't run the bases correctly. He took him out of the game. He still uses the threat of the lineup card against his players that they're not going to play unless they play the kind of baseball that Pat Murphy, the Brewers organization want them to. But that's very rare nowadays.
I was going to say, Ronnie, there have been multiple examples of that this year alone.
So they play an old school brand of baseball, and Pat Murphy manages like one as well.
A lot of ways takes his cues from his time as a college coach. So many years on that side of baseball. And that's strike three on the outside corner. Perkins is rung up.
Well, it's transitional versus transformative, right? Transitional is wins and losses, if that's all you need. For Murphy, a former college coach, it's transformative. How do you change the athlete that you're trying to lead? For Frelick, it's something he'll never do again.
Joey Ortiz now. Savali has retired 6 of the last 7.
You look no further than Joey Ortiz, who's batting 9th. Great
fly ball to right.
But he's been walked twice in this game. The 9th place hitter, mistake by the Cubs.
That'll take us through 4. The Brewers jumping on top of the Cubs in this game 1 of the National League Division Series on TBS. Season is brought to you by T-Mobile, now the best network in America. And by Ryder, top dog supply chain and transportation solutions from Ryder. All Brewers in game one, but for the leadoff homer from Michael Busch. Freddie Peralta has been cruising ever since then. Into the fifth now as he faces Dansby Swanson. His first ever playoff meeting between the Cubs and the Brewers. See if this ball gets into the seats. Going to be a tough play for Durbin right up against the screen. That said, they have played in a winner-take-all postseason type game. 2018, a Game 163 tiebreaker to decide the National League Central title. Jose Quintana, now a member of the Brewers, started in that game. He might be the Game 3 starter for Milwaukee, but Chicago lost that game. Milwaukee took the division title, went on to the NLCS that year.
That was what you referred to their last postseason series win when they swept the Rockies and then went on to face the Dodgers. There's Jose Quintana, one of the great guys of the game. Real gentleman, class act.
These two teams in similar places in terms of their lack of series victories in the playoffs lately. 1-2 pitch into Swanson, misses low and away. A win over the Padres for the Cubs. That was their first playoff series win in 8 years. Going back to the NLDS in 2017 against the Nationals. Of course, the Cubs have missed the playoffs 4 years in a row prior to this season. Peralta with strikeout number 7. One gone here in the fifth. You can make your voice heard. Vote now to select the 2025 All MLB team presented by MGM Rewards. It's your chance to be part of history and honor this season's top performers. Terms and conditions apply. See MLB.com/AllMLB for details. Peralta has conceded 2 hits and 2 walks, but Ronnie, I can't think of any difficult at bat yet for him in this game.
Yeah, other than the Busch at bat, right? But he has cruised so far. You know, he just doesn't give up a lot of hits. Since 2021, the league is batting 199 versus him. He just doesn't give up a ton of hits.
Borderline pitch there. 3-0 to Matt Shaw, who has one of those 2 walks for Chicago.
Outside.
And for the second straight time, Shaw will take a walk.
The 9th place hitter in both lineups has walked twice.
Right. Go figure. Peralta, if not for Paul Skeens in Pittsburgh, he'd be one of the front runners for National League Cy Young this year.
I think the person that's going to finish second, I think he'll be in the top 3 discussion. But the guy who'll finish second, I think, is Christopher Sanchez, who I think is pitching for the Phillies tonight. He's had quite a year, but Skeens is, I mean, 2 seasons now, his ERA under 2. This is supposed to be the formative years.
Right. That's actually the scary thing is you talk to anybody in Pittsburgh and they say, oh, he's still learning how to pitch.
Right. You know, I was lucky enough to be in the same rotation as Dwight Gooden his first 2 years, and talk about transformative. Same start as Skeens. Different day of pitching in those days, of course. But
it seems like a while ago that Michael Busch began this game with a bang. A leadoff homer off Peralta. Second homer of the postseason for Busch.
had to have some of the Brewers fans saying, "Oh, here we go again."
Right. 3 for 4 in the clincher against the Padres. Busch 1 for 2 this afternoon. Looper misses well outside, just a bit outside from Peralta. Of course, this is the first playoff game without the great Bob Uecker for Milwaukee. He is every bit a part of this organization still. A legend here for this franchise. Bush strikes out. 8th strikeout for Freddie Peralta.
Well, if you're Michael Bush and you're batting on a 3-2 count and the score is 9-1, you're expecting the 4-seam fastball from Peralta, and he threw the changeup instead.
He's deployed that a couple of times this afternoon to great effect. Nico Hoerner behind 0-1.
I think both teams in this series and this season playing with heavy hearts. Uecker certainly for the Brewers, but Ryan Sandberg, who we lost much too young this summer, for the Cubs, of course. One of the greats.
One of the most beloved players for a city and a team in baseball history.
I never faced anyone more in my career than Ryan Sandberg. Consider that an honor.
Nico Hoerner, his 4th consecutive season with 20+ stolen bases. He's the first Cubs player to do that since Ryan Sandberg. Peralta's 1-2. This is upstairs. Hoerner, who was 2nd in the National League in batting average this year. And he strikes out. Number 9 for Peralta. Freddie Peralta is dealing. And the Brewers have been dominant in this game 1. All right, Lefko, that'll be a lot of fun. What a pitching matchup, too. Mentioned that Sanchez is going for the Phillies. That could be a NLCS matchup, but they meet here in the division series.
A lot of star power there, right? They tried to get Ohtani to talk on how nervous he was going to be, and he ended up talking more about the cheesesteaks that are in the visiting locker room in Philadelphia, which are phenomenal.
They are the best. Dodgers fans are hoping he hasn't eaten too many of them. Because that's easy to do.
He'd have a Ruthian game that way.
Yes. Isaac Collins here to lead things off for the Brewers, and he takes strike 3 from Savali. Collins is in for Jackson Chourio, who re-injured his hamstring. But the Brewers, look at all the hits they've collected so far today. 11 of them, 8 singles, and 9 runs on the board.
Only 1 hit given up by Aaron Savali, as he's retired 8 of the 9 he's faced so far. You know, we didn't get a chance to talk about Isaac Collins when he's up there, but there will be some pressure on him in this series now. He'll become a starter.
Alex Turang, the batter here. Boy, did he take a massive leap this year for Milwaukee.
Always thought that he was going to be, you always knew he was a great defensive player. You didn't know how far the hitting would come. And boy, has it come a long way, as you said, this summer.
Lauren, you have more?
Yeah, Pat Murphy said he was going to take quantum leaps from last season to this season. I talked to Bryce about it. He said, look, it's just about experience, getting older, understanding the game more. He said you learn how to maybe get out of something quicker, understand how a guy's trying to attack you better. It's just off of that experience, and I feel more comfortable out there every single game.
Anytime you're on a list with Yount and Molitor in this organization, you're doing something pretty good. Two of the greats.
Count runs full on Turang. And he smacks one the other way. One out single for Turang, and the 9th single for the Brewers this afternoon.
Couple of hits now in his 4 at-bats, a double here, and impressive single going the other way with 2 strikes.
He hit .348 against the Cubs during the regular season. And he's 2 for 4 this afternoon. As Savali misses off the outside corner to Contreras. Infield double play depth. Big hole on the right side.
Contreras has always been one of the more durable catchers. Two consecutive years now catching over 1,000 innings, 128 games as a starter behind the plate this year.
Well, he needed the break, as you mentioned, Ronnie, to heal up from a forearm contusion late in the season. Ground ball scooped up by Shaw. The second for one, on to first. That's a double play. And we're through 5 here in Milwaukee. The Brewers still in control. MLB postseason is brought to you by Frigidaire, introducing the new line of ovens featuring stone-baked pizza mode only from Frigidaire. And by DraftKings Sportsbook, your home for live betting. Alex Faust, Ron Darling, Lauren Jabara here with you. Packed house at American Family Field in Milwaukee. And these fans probably glad they were in their seats early. 6 runs in the first for the Brewers, 3 in the second, after Chicago led 1-0 on Michael Busch leadoff homer in Game 1 of this National League Division Series.
Of all the ballparks that I'm lucky enough to come to, they are in their seats early here. I know they come early to tailgating, which seems to be more of a NFL rite of passage, right? But it plays big here.
Yeah.
And the folks can't wait to get in this ballpark.
Fans cooking up brats outside
right.
the ball game, outside the ballpark for this Game 1. And it's so easy too for Cubs fans to come up here and mix it up with their rivals from the north. And the Brewers actually were promoting they're going to have a train service from Milwaukee to Chicago ahead of Game 3. Get their fans maybe to invade Wrigleyville.
Well,
2-2 pitch, fly ball to left. Collins is there.
well, against Suzuki, who's been one of the hottest Cubs hitters, Peralta threw him everything but the kitchen sink. Change up there for the strikeout. This is a fastball he paints outside. A couple of breaking balls, a couple of different kind of breaking balls, including this one, which caught the inside corner and struck out Suzuki for his second at bat.
An interesting year for Suzuki, up and down for sure, after Terrific first half. Everything seemed to be clicking for the Cubs offense in the first half of the season.
Well, they had everyone with an OPS north of 850. So everyone got off to a quick start in their lineup. They were just pummeling opponents in the first 2.5 months. I don't know if that was a changeup or a breaking ball, but not the fastball that comes inside to Suzuki. Yeah, the breaking ball that he just leaves and it never breaks. Good job by Suzuki getting out of the way. No shadows or anything playing a part here in the ballpark, which is a good thing for these afternoon games.
And the sun pouring through the glass at the top of the stadium, bathing the first base side of the field in sunlight. Ground ball from Suzuki. Durbin, long throw. 2 gone.
We talked a lot about the Cubs defense, and they are a great defense. But this Brewers team can pick it as well. And Durbin with the throw on the run, perfectly thrown to Andrew Vaughn at first.
Since the Michael Busch homer to lead off the game, the Cubs with just 1 hit. Peralta has issued 3 walks, but only 1 runner has gotten to second base since then.
I said before that Peralta's 9-3 in his lifetime record against the Cubs. It's because 3 or 4 of the hitters in this Cubs lineup really just have a hard time picking up the ball out of Peralta's hand. Happ being one of them.
Peralta with 9 strikeouts. Looking for number 10. This ball is driven to center field. Perkins going back. He looks up. It is gone. A home run. Ian Happ to the deepest part of the park. And Chicago has their second run, both by way of the homer.
Well, little victories you're looking for here if you're the Cubs. I mentioned that Happ had a hard time seeing the ball out of the hand of Peralta. It was 2 for 35 prior to that long ball. Little victories. Catches the fastball out front. And that ball, there's a cement wall behind center field, and it came banging back into play.
Yeah, Happ didn't know he clicked it.
That's how hard that ball was hit. If Perkins didn't intercept it, it might have bounced all the way to the infield.
So Carson Kelly will bat here now. Second career postseason homer for Ian Happ. Veteran for the Cubs. Longest tenured player with the team. This is a hard hit ball up the middle. And back-to-back hits for Chicago. Carson Kelly with a 2-out single.
Changeup. This one, though, not down and in where he threw the one to Suzuki we just showed, but this one just middle.
That'll be it for Freddie Peralta. But what a start it was. Fans rise to their feet in Milwaukee. The Brewers ace getting them into the 6th. And he legs it to a rousing ovation. Baseball presented by Geico. Get more with Geico. Freddie Peralta with 9 strikeouts this afternoon.
Well, he was on top of his game. He didn't really spin it as well as I've seen him in the past, but his fastball was playing. Got a couple of calls against Suzuki there, but got to 9 strikeouts, got them into the 6th inning. He's one of the best pitchers in this game that we don't talk about enough.
So that'll bring Aaron Ashby out of the bullpen, Ron.
Yeah, Aaron Ashby, their left-hander. He's had quite a year in 43 games. You can see by that earned run average. But his curveball is one of the best in the game. You can see the spin rate. That's better than most in the game. And also his drop, vertical drop, and horizontal break, both better than league averages.
Lefty on lefty faces Pete Crow Armstrong.
Nephew of Andy Ashby, the right-hander who pitched for many major league teams, 98 game winner.
And it's a fly ball to left, a lazy one. Collins underneath it, inning over. 5.5 in the books. The Cubs get 1 back, but it's still a 7-run deficit. MLB legends and stars tee off at the inaugural Capital One MLB Open at Shadow Creek, November 18th, 9:30 Eastern on TNT. Go to MLB.com/golf for more details. The sausage race in Milwaukee.
It's the best.
Yes.
The best. None better.
True original. Often imitated, never duplicated.
Yes.
9-2, the Brewers lead the Cubs game 1 of the NLDS. All the damage done early for the Brewers. Aaron Savali has actually done well to stabilize things for the Cubs since coming in the 2nd. Michael Boyd, Michael Soroka unable to get outs.
Yeah, in a weird way, Savali is resembling the best starting pitching effort they've gotten, but he happens to be the 3rd pitcher.
Right. Yelich with a high fly ball, deep center field. Pete Crow Armstrong tracks it down. Allowed first outs here in the 6th.
Want more postseason stats? Just ask Siri. Who has the most career postseason home runs?
After a franchise record in wins during the regular season, Milwaukee trying to put game 1 to bed here as Vaughn pops this up. And a couple of flyouts here in the 6th. Brewers, remember, just 2-10 in postseason games since their last playoff series victory in 2018.
With that out now, Savali, this has been the longest relief appearance in his career. Much travel the last couple of seasons. Could hear Frelick up here with the groan as he fouls it off his toe.
We had thought coming into this game, Ronnie, that if the Cubs weren't going to pitch Matthew Boyd on short rest, so take a look at Frelick. Where did this get him? Oh, yeah. That'll be black and blue tomorrow. We had thought that perhaps they would have gone to a bullpen game and maybe used Savali as one of their piggyback guys. Just to give Matthew Boyd an extra couple of days. Instead, Boyd got lit up. Only got 2 outs in this one. Final line on Boyd was 2/3 of an inning, 4 hits, 6 runs, though with the error thrown in that first inning, only 2 of them were earned.
You know, Matthew Boyd's had such a strong season, 14 wins, low ERA. He was their best pitcher for a long time early in the season. It's one of the reasons Cubs had a good year is because of his performance. Just a tough one today.
The second time in Boyd's career he's had to make a start on 3 days or fewer rest. Looking on from the dugout now. Ball and 2 strikes to Frelick. And he pops it up. Happ makes the call and the catch. And it's a 1-2-3-6 for Savali. The 2025 National League Division Series is presented by Booking.com.
Top of the 7th here, Brewers up 9-2. Earlier in the game, we saw Jackson Chourio on his 3rd hit in 2 innings as he crosses the bag, kind of grab on to the back of his hamstring. It was the hamstring that kept him out nearly the entire month of August. I talked to Pat Murphy. He said, yeah, it was the same exact hamstring. We want to be careful with it. Just got word from the PR staff. It says right hamstring tightness for Jackson Chourio. He's going to be further evaluated this afternoon, but something we'll definitely be keeping an eye on over the next 2 days before Game 2.
It will be a massive story to watch. Brewers will have all of tonight, all of tomorrow, and then a night game for Game 2 of this series on Monday.
That's right. 8:08 East Coast, 7:08 here. There have been different times in Aaron Ashby's career that they've considered making him into a starter. He has starters stuff, but it seems like he's found a nice home for Pat Murphy in that bullpen.
Former starter. He was a top pitching prospect in this organization for a while. Strike 3 called, dotting the corner at 98. And Swanson is rung up for the 3rd time this afternoon. With the baseball postseason here, you need the MLB app. Your team, your players, your postseason. Follow all the postseason action. Download the MLB app, the #1 app for live baseball. Matt Shaw, the rookie 3rd baseman, will bat here for the Cubs. Aaron Ashby at one point was considered the top pitching prospect in the Brewers organization. Then he suffered a torn labrum in 2023. And since coming back from that, he's been used primarily as a reliever.
Yes, it is.
Shaw tied up in a knot.
I mean, that's how nasty that curveball is. Didn't even make it to the plate and got a check swing versus Shaw. I mean, that bounced about 55 feet away.
Contreras tried to frame it.
Just really back legs it, gets right on that breaking ball. He thought he hit the back door, but good call by home plate umpire Moscoso. It's been good all afternoon.
Shaw, who had a really good second half for the Cubs. Their manager Craig Counsell will have to hit the reset button in Game 2, especially pitching wise. Contreras calls time. He and Ashby crossed up.
A lot of times they'll go out there, the catcher, to pay that visit because of the pitch timer. They're going to lose the pitch timer and call the ball. So he sprinted out there. They got it right.
Popped up. Frelick is there. Of course, among the many storylines here for the Cubs coming into this series is the return of Craig Counsell to Milwaukee, who's certainly received a less than favorable reaction every time he's come here in the regular season. 9 seasons as the Brewers manager, shocking the baseball world when he left for the Cubs after the 2023 season. He played 6 seasons here in Milwaukee as well, still so close with so many on the staff here. To get the job in Chicago, he actually had to travel in secret to meet with Jed Hoyer. He didn't want to tip anybody off that he was talking about taking that job down I-94, which at the time made him the highest paid manager in the game.
Well, he had to do it in secret because the Cubs already had a manager in David Ross. A real solid manager. But Jed Hoyer said and considered Craig one of the more bright minds of this game. He had to take a shot. I think everyone in baseball hopes that David Ross gets another shot.
Ground ball. Terang makes the play. 1, 2, 3, 7 for Ashby. Time to get up and stretch in Milwaukee and roll out the barrel in a 7-run game.
Is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
Nine-2 Brewers here in Game 1 of the National League Division Series as we take you inside the booth. Presented by AT&T. Alex Faust and Ron Darling here with you. The Brewers' explosion in the first couple innings of this game, that's the headline.
It is a headline, but it's a game I think that Milwaukee had to have. You know, they had the edge with their best pitcher Peralta going. And I know fans don't like to hear it. Like, what does this mean for the Cubs? It really means nothing. It's better than, you know, getting walked off maybe in the 9th inning. It's just one of those games. It happened. Matthew Boyd didn't have his thing. They'll come out loaded for bear on Monday.
Well, the thing for the Cubs, too, coming off a wild card series where they utilized their bullpen heavily, in some ways they got saved today by letting Aaron Savali go 4 1/3. And they transition here to Ben Brown, who comes into the game for the Cubs and will face 7, 8, and 9 for the Brewers. But Chicago, to your point, Ronnie, I think in some ways you look at when you're on the road to start a series, if you get a split, that's your goal. Right?
And they were on such a high coming off that wild card series that maybe there was a little hangover from that series. Certainly Peralta was on his A game today. That happens. Matthew Boyd should just consider later in the series he might play a role. So.
Well, it'll be a storyline for both teams, how to utilize the bullpen as the series goes along. Caleb Durbin, a 2-run single in the second. And he goes around here.
Tough year for Ben Brown, who's in for the Cubs. Great job by Aaron Savali. Hard thrower, hard curveball. He's always pitched well against the Brewers, and maybe that's why he got on the roster. It was either Ben Brown or Taylor Rogers, the left-hander, so they went with Brown. I think that's the real hard part for managers, is on this day you had to have your roster in by about 10 a.m. and so you have to have some tough discussions with guys that have really played a big part in why you're here, and sometimes they're left off that roster.
Strikeout of Durbin as Brown makes his first career postseason appearance. Milwaukee Brewers, of course, the best record in baseball during the regular season. Defying the odds once again. Teams with the best record to win the World Series in the last 15 years, well, it's only happened 5 times. Last year, of course, the Dodgers, just a juggernaut from start to finish. But for Milwaukee, again, this is just game 1 of a best of 5. Can they take this style of play, this formula that has worked for them so well, and apply it to playoff baseball, where we've seen time and time again that you need a combination of a top-tier bullpen and some slug in your lineup?
9 runs without a homer. You know, they are, with Churio out now, it looks like he's not going to probably play a role in the rest of this series with the hamstring strain. They've got some power in the lineup, just not like the Cubs have. With anyone in that lineup from 1 to 9 can hit a home run for the Cubs.
And that's where the threat comes in for a team like Chicago, that if they turn it on, that's what they have. One area that Milwaukee does not. The Brewers, who have hit the fewest homers of any remaining team in the postseason. There's a strike to run the count full on Blake Perkins.
Both of these teams are great teams, and this is a strange game, right? 9-2 score, 2 real solid teams. One had the best record in baseball. This will end up being a real close series, only because of all the games they played this year. All of them have been heated and intense.
Cubs won the season series 7-6 during the regular season. Payoff pitch spoiled by Perkins.
You know, sometimes you're asked all the time how much you need experience to play in these postseason games, and it doesn't hurt. Certainly it helps, but sometimes you can have the lack of experience.
Perkins smacks one into the right field corner. It's off the wall on one hop, and it's a stand-up double for Perkins.
Pat Murphy put Perkins into the lineup late. Why? Because Freddie Peralta gives up a lot of fly balls. He wanted his best defensive outfield, and he produces 2 hits now from the 8th slot. Little breaking ball that he bangs down into the right field corner.
We detailed how emotional this season has been for Perkins. Getting the start in center field here today. A first inning single on 11 pitches. He doubles on the 8th pitch of his at bat here in the 7th.
One from the right side, one from the left side.
Right. "13 hits. All of them have stayed in the yard. And the Brewers are on the verge of double-digit run production. Team with a real chemistry about them. Personality that runs through their clubhouse. Ball and 2 strikes to Joey Ortiz, the 9-hole hitter.
You know, in today's game in the postseason, it's all about the home runs, right? Out homer your opponent, you win 82% of your games. So that is, in a macro world, sorry. That's how you look at the game as Ortiz goes down on strikes. But in the micro world, we're dealing with today. And Pat Murphy talked about that. He said they have a lot of power. They play great defense. They do a lot of things we envy over here. But it's one game. It's today. Who's better today? And so far, certainly it's been the Brewers.
They've been out homered today.
There you go, right?
but not out hit, that's for sure. Play Ball is baseball's global youth initiative to highlight the fun and accessible ways to play our great game. To learn more, including how to find a league near you, go to playball.org. Follow @playball on X, Facebook, and Instagram. This will hang up there for Suzuki. And the inning is over. Through 7, the Brewers 6 outs from a Game 1 win. The National League Division Series is presented by Booking.com. '25 MLB postseason is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah. And by Geico. Switch and save. Get more with Geico. Alex Faust, Ron Darling, Lauren Jabara here with you in Milwaukee. Brandon Lockridge enters the game in left field for Milwaukee. And the new pitcher for the Brewers is Jared Koenig, a left-hander who had a terrific regular season for Milwaukee.
72 games, whip, a good number, almost a little over a strikeout an inning, 68 strikeouts in 60 innings.
Nico Horner leading things off for the Cubs here in the 8th. And this is something you and I talked a lot about, Ronnie. One of the first points that you hammered home about this series was how important the bullpen's going to be for the Brewers.
Yeah, just a week it's going to take to play 5 games in this division series. And for the Brewers, they've still got some question marks here in Game 1 of this division series. Trevor McGill pitched in Game 162. They wanted to see how his arm was doing. He suffered a flexor strain, which he's trying to nurse back, and they have to see him in the game to see whether he can release that good breaking ball. That's one of his best pitches. And whether that flexor strain is healed and he can take really snapping that pitch off. As an extra part of that, Trevor McGill's brother, Tyler McGill, had the same injury and now is going to undergo Tommy John surgery. So that's a strange thing to have on your mind, right?
It's human nature.
Right, of course.
And the Brewers late season had an injury with DL Hall as well, who was great for them in high leverage situations. He's not on the roster for the division series.
They had some hard decisions to make. Tobias Myers was so good for them out of the bullpen this year. They ended up going with Mizorowski and Anderson.
There's a drive to left field from Horner. Way back there and gone. The 3rd solo homer for the Cubs this afternoon. This one belongs to Nico Horner. And the deficit is down to 6. Second leadoff shot for the Cubs as well.
Bush led off the game with a home run. Now Horner, after striking out a couple of times, catches one on the barrel. 4-seamer right there. Horner only had 7 home runs during the regular season. More of a base hit machine.
It's his first career postseason home run. Boy, if you were to tell me, Ronnie, that the Cubs out-homer the Brewers 3-zip and they lost Game 1.
You wouldn't even have to say that. Just say, if someone told you after the game, the Cubs hit 3 home runs today. Wow, what was the score? They lost, you know what I mean?
Right.
And that, of course, hasn't happened yet. Seen postseason games get away from teams. Got to respect each and every out.
The Cubs have not come back from 6 or more runs down this season. Tucker goes around. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Grounded right back up the middle off the glove of Koenig. He'll pick it up and fire in time. Of course, this is day 1 of the division series in both leagues. Yankees Blue Jays just underway. Tonight, game 1 between the Dodgers and the Phillies. And then later tonight, the Tigers and the Mariners. Tomorrow, the AL takes center stage. Game 2s, Yankees Blue Jays, Tigers Mariners, both on FS1. Blue Jays winning the American League East. Seattle Mariners having a magical season. Their pitching staff again solid, but Cal Raleigh an otherworldly type year as a primary catcher.
Jared Koenig is a story about never giving up on your dream. Not drafted in 2016, played for the Salina Stockade, San Rafael Pacifics. Ended up playing for the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. I admire those guys that are going to have the uniforms ripped off before they let that dream go by.
Now in his 3rd big league season, Koenig. It is a long road from independent ball to the big leagues.
How about the postseason?
In the air from Suzuki. Frelick backpedaling makes the catch. Well, this, I think, for a guy like Koenig lines up well with the way this Brewers team is constructed. That average Joe's line keeps coming up.
It's also a soft landing for your first time in the postseason is a good thing as this series goes on.
You're right, for many of these guys, it's their first experience.
Right.
Happ taps it in front of home plate. Contreras is there. And the inning is over. 3 homers for the Cubs today. But it's a 9-3 lead for Milwaukee. The 2025 National League Division Series is presented by Booking.com. Wrestling championship gold is more than just a belt. It's everything these athletes fight for. AEW on a special night. Dynamite's Title Tuesday live 8 Eastern on TBS and stream on HBO Max. And Brown remains on the hill for the Cubs. Bottom of the 8th, 9-3 Milwaukee. The 9 runs for the Brewers coming in the first 2 innings. They batted around in the first. Sent 9 men to the plate in the second. From that point on, Aaron Savali did what he had to preserve the Cubs bullpen. Freddie Peralta with a gem today. 5 2/3. 4 hits, 2 earned, both on solo homers. Exactly what the doctor ordered for the Brewers coming off their bye week.
It was interesting when asked, Craig Counsell was talking about kind of the approach that the Brewers have, and he said, I know Pat Murphy pretty well. He likes his team to not swing a lot, and when they do swing, put the ball in play. But he was alluding to that they aren't usually aggressive. And it was great to see Lauren ask Pat Murphy that question, because they were just the opposite today. Maybe that's signs of a young team. You know, couldn't wait to swing the bat.
Terang down on strikes. Oh, to your point earlier, Ronnie, sometimes you don't know what you don't know.
It's so true.
They didn't swing out of their shoes, though. They stuck with the same formula that has gotten them to this point. The only thing they didn't do, which probably didn't have a chance to early in this game, was steal a base. Ball was in play so often.
Oh, and the big deficit, right?
Right.
Or the large lead. I think what's interesting to me about the Brewers is that they didn't lose in the postseason last year. They had one of the more devastating losses you could have. Up 2-0 in the ninth inning. Alonso hits a 3-run home run off your closer. You lose your closer then to a trade to the Yankees. Willie Adames, one of the foundation centers of your team. What a play by Swanson, which has been an October full of plays. One of the best shortstops in the game. One thing that separates Swanson is that he is so good to his backhand. Really still maintains those soft hands with anything hard to the backhand. Such a pure, soft-handed fielder. Fun to watch.
Well, it's going to be a theme throughout this series. The ball in play from the Brewers and the Cubs defense, and how that matches up.
Well, they found grass today. There was nothing that the defense could do. But quickly, you lose Willie Adames and Devin Williams. How many teams in baseball could lose their closer and their starting shortstop and win 97 games? Not a lot. Not many.
Well, going back even further, right? You know, David Stearns gets hired away by the Mets. Craig Counsell hired away by the Cubs. And they have just kept plugging away here in Milwaukee, defying the odds.
If you want a culture of winning, look no further than in that Milwaukee dugout.
GM Matt Arnold, year after year, finding the right fits.
And the Cubbies are going to come back on Monday, and they're going to be angry. There's Mark Antanasio. I mean, he really revitalized baseball back here. I mean, the stands have been filled quite a long time now.
Can't blame him for that smile. Christian Yelich draws a walk. A 2-out walk for Yelich. He didn't even know it was ball 4. Happens to the best of them.
The ump cam told him.
Jake Bauers will pinch hit for Andrew Vaughn here. And a great finish to the regular season, Bauers.
Just another little thing that means nothing, except that Bauers gets a nice at-bat late in the game. He's going to get some starts in this series.
And one of the wrinkles for Milwaukee, they left Rhys Hoskins off their postseason roster, who was their first baseman to begin the year. And then when he got hurt and they traded for Andrew Vaughn, Vaughn took over as the everyday first baseman, even well after Hoskins was healthy enough to play.
Yeah, Rhys, 6 home runs and 13 RBIs in 20 games. It's hard to leave off. It's always been great in the post.
Bauers is filled in from time to time at first base as well. Cubs in the bottom of the ninth, or in the top of the ninth, I should say. We'll have Kelly, Pete Crow Armstrong, and Dansby Swanson. team by many accounts favored to win the division coming into the season. Challenge for the National League pennant. Forced to go through the wild card round. This ball gets away from Carson Kelly, allows Yelich to advance 90 feet. Can they bounce back from this performance with an off day to follow tomorrow?
Cubbies don't have their Game 2 pitcher yet. We've heard Shota Imanaga.
Yeah, they didn't announce Boyd until very late today.
Well, late last night, yeah.
Yeah, late last night, yeah. I have to figure Imanaga would be, especially with the extra day baked in, Game 2 starter for Chicago. Full count here to Bowers. Imanaga struggled down the stretch. He dealt with an injury midway through the season.
Yeah, 12 home runs in his last 6 starts, 31 for the season. That's been really the bugaboo for Imanaga.
Payoff to the pinch hitter Bowers. Yelich takes off. It's ball 4. Well, there's your stolen base.
Seems like an odd base to steal in a 9-3 game in the 8th. They weren't paying attention to him, which usually doesn't happen. Took third because Shaw was playing so far off the line, there was no reason, no way he could cover. So kind of a free base. Yelich took it.
Fastball misses low to Sal Frelick. If they hadn't landed the knockout blow already, this would be the time. Oh, that nearly got away.
These guys who throw 100 sometimes throw 100 to first base. Not great for Michael Busch. This one's over his head, just snares it in time.
Ben Brown trying to complete 2 innings of relief. Talked about the Cubs and who they might start in Game 2. Brewers have Quinn Priester, who was just lights out during the regular season.
Yeah, it was win day when he pitched, right?
On the ground from Frelick. And that'll end the inning. Last licks for the Cubs. A 6-run lead for Milwaukee as we head to the 9th. 6:30 Eastern, Game 1 between the Dodgers and the Phillies. And what is a heavyweight bout in the start of that division series.
Ohtani starting that game for the Dodgers. Christopher Sanchez. The Dodgers record against left-handed pitching, starting pitching, is under 500. First 3 games will be started by left-handers for the Phillies. Sanchez, Luzardo, and Ranger Suarez. I'm not sure if it's in that order. Nick Meir is in to try to finish this up for the Brewers.
Many of the 40,000+ sellout crowd here at American Family Field in Milwaukee still in their seats as the Brewers look to cinch up game 1. Ball and 2 strikes to Kelly. Nick Mears, who had a career-high 63 appearances during the regular season for the Brewers, that at times was pieced together due to injury. Kelly down on strikes. 1 gone.
Fastball, slider, four-seamer, high in the zone, good ride to it, throws it by Kelly.
Generous strike 1 to Pete Crow Armstrong.
11 Cubs have gone down swinging today.
Different guys have had to carry the load for the Brewers bullpen over the second half of the year. Mears among them. A top 5 bullpen ERA since the All-Star break. Even with Shelby Miller done out with injury. Trevor McGill shut down late. DL Hall out for the end of the regular season, unavailable to start the postseason. And even Nick Mears had a back flare-up over the final month of the season, but is ready to go here to try to put the finishing touches on a Game 1 win. 0-2 pitch, strike 3. Right down the pipe at 97. And they're on their feet in Milwaukee with the Cubs down to their final out.
It's a fierce beauty to the fall season. Fierce for the Cubs today. Beautiful for the Brewers.
Oh, and 1 to Swanson. The fireworks started early for Milwaukee. Mears looking to strike out the side to finish off the Cubs in Game 1. Pop foul, drifting towards the seats.
That's one that almost caught those wires that is hanging over the ballpark here from the roof. If it hits it in foul territory, it's foul. Hits it in fair territory, play it as it is.
Mears unable to get the call. There's a line drive to left and a base hit for Swanson. Around first and sprint into second with a 2-out double to extend this game. And the Cubs will use a pinch hitter here.
Breaking ball from Mears. Swanson stays on it, pulls it down into the corner for a double. Those are the kind of at-bats. He's had 3 strikeouts in the game. If you were less of a competitor than Dansby Swanson, you might kick in that 4th at-bat. Not Dansby.
Chris Hook with a quick conversation. And Moises Ballesteros will pinch hit for Chicago.
Ballesteros came up late in the season, got tremendous power to left center and left field.
Brewers will let Dansby Swanson jog into 3rd with a stolen base.
Catcher by trade, maybe not ready to catch here in the postseason, but boy, his bat plays.
Actually, they'll call that defensive indifference. Ball and a strike here to Ballesteros. Saw his numbers making a great early impression.
He just always looks comfortable when I've seen him in small snippets. His at bats, he never seems like he's ever befuddled.
Having a good at bat here. Ballesteros rolls over on one. It stays fair, and that'll do it. The best team in baseball during the regular season. The Brewers with a barrage in Game 1. One of the largest postseason wins in franchise history. And the Brewers lead this series 1-0.
Team with the best record in baseball. You need 11 to go all the way through. They got number 1 here by the Brewers. Not the Cubbies' day. Freddie Peralta was on time. And Brewers just came out and were ready to play in the 1st inning and resulted in 6 runs.
9 in the first 2. A short day for Matthew Boyd and Michael Soroka. And now an off day for the Cubs to lick their wounds after a frantic last 36 hours. A dramatic win to finish the wild card to get to this division series, but punched in the mouth by the Brewers to begin this series. And this Brewers magic rolls on into the postseason. For Pat Murphy and this team looking to end a 42-year pennant drought. Yes, they had the magic brew here today. Hits galore and a gem from Freddie Peralta.
For the Cubbies, do you take anything out of the game today? You just chalk it up to one of those days. 3 home runs in the game, showed some pop.
No rust for this Brewers team either. That's always a concern with teams coming out of that extended break from the end of the regular season. Some played scrimmages open to fans. Brewers decided to keep their workouts closed, focus on the task at hand, and work on some of the fundamentals. Get a couple of hard workout days in, and the 40,000 plus can go home happy. The Brewers beat the Cubs 9-3 in Game 1 of the National League Division Series. More from Milwaukee as we wrap things up right after this. (9-3) the final. The Brewers take Game 1 of this best-of-5 series over the Chicago Cubs. Lauren Jabara standing by downstairs with the star of the game, Freddie Peralta.
He was the star of the game. Freddie, you came out here and you set the tone for your team early. I know you told me yesterday you like going up against some of the best offenses. It brings out the best in you. How were you able to set the tone for your team today from the first inning?
You know, it wasn't easy, but I'm thankful that I was able to do what I had to do today and help the team to get the win. And for some reason, I feel that I did a lot because the offense, you know, they score a lot of runs. But I knew what team I was facing, so they're really good. And I was able to get the outs.
Yeah, you were able to get the outs. 9 strikeouts too. How does it allow you to approach hitters differently, settle into your rhythm when you get so much run support early in the game? 9 runs in the first 2 innings for you guys.
Yeah, I think I gotta give credit to Williams too. He was able to call a great game. And we couldn't do this if we weren't together. So about the offense, you know, it's great when you have all guys like that, all hitters like fight it up, and they were like that from the beginning. And hopefully they stay like that because they look great.
Freddie was amazing. I know you said you eat fruit before games, so go get yourself a meal now.
I have to. Thank you.
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Lauren, thank you very much. Our final score, Brewers 9, Cubs 3. Be sure to tune in later tonight, 6:30 Eastern on TBS. Game 1 between the Dodgers and the Phillies. For our entire TBS crew, this is Alex Faust saying goodbye from Milwaukee. You've been watching TBS, exclusive home of the NLDS and NLCS. Big Bang Theory is coming up after this break.
God bless you. Double pro. I'm on this sound fairly no. DJ Softy man. I'm on you be. Idiot no. Love what you give to me. It's sweet past you got cane. I not go like you dey hide me past okay. See the way she just the wine. She the one pass up piano do. I swear to God, now she did do me do. Comforting, give me love again. Give me love again. If you give me love again, I will never go away. Comforting, give me love again. Give me love again. If you don't give me love again, you gon' make me go insane. Comforting, yeah. Yeah, comfort your mama no more so. My baby too fine, no, now so she dey beautiful. Anytime I see her face, you, I go just tell a fool. Now because of you, my guys, then they call me big fool. Big fool, man. See the way she soft to you, she be like foo. Comforting, give me love again. Give me love again. If you give me love again, I will never go away. Comforting, give me love again. Give me love again. If you don't give me love again, you gon' make me go insane. Comforting, yeah. Yeah, comfort your mama no more so. Yeah, comforting reloki me. Yeah, combo no be reisa. Yeah, comforting, yeah. Yeah, comfort your mama no more so. Yeah, comforting reloki me. Yeah, combo no be reisa. Double pro. Yeah, God bless you, know. I'm on this song, yeah. Double pull on the missing. Yeah. DJ dey softy man. I see you. I'm on this sound very.
Как тяжко мертвецу среди людей, живым и страстным притворяться. Но надо в общество втираться, скрывая для карьеры лязг костей. Живые спят, мертвец встает из гроба, и в банк идет, и в суд идет, в сенат. Чем ночь белее, тем чернее злоба, и перья торжествующе скрипят. Мертвец весь день трудится над докладом, присутствие кончается, и вот нашептывает он, виляя задом, сенатор узкобрезный анекдот. Уж вечер мелкий дождь зашлепал грязью прохожих и дома и прочий вздор, а мертвеца к другому безобразию с крыши ощущений несет таксомотор. Как тяжко мертвецу среди людей, живым и страстным притворяться. Но надо в общество втираться, скрывая для карьеры лязг костей. Живые спят, мертвец встает из гроба, и в банк идет, и в суд идет, и в сенат. Чем ночь белее, тем чернее злоба, и перья торжествующе скрипят. Мертвец весь день трудится над докладом, присутствие кончается, и вот нашептывает он, виляя задом, сенатор узкобрезный анекдот. Уж вечер мелкий дождь зашлепал грязью прохожих и дома и прочий вздор, а мертвеца к другому безобразию с крыши ощущений несет таксомотор.
Так вы стоите на моем пути, такая живая, такая красивая, но такая измученная. Говорите все печально, думаете о смерти, никого не любите и презираете свою красоту. Что ж, разве я обижу вас? О нет, ведь я не насильник, не обманщик и не гордец. Хотя много знаю, слишком много думаю с детства и слишком занят собой. Ведь я сочинитель, человек, называющий все по имени, отнимающий аромат у живого цветка. Сколько ни говорите о печальном, сколько ни размышляете о концах и началах, все же я смею думать, что вам только 15 лет. И потому я хотел бы, чтобы вы влюбились в простого человека, который любит землю и небо.